Uninterested in her affection, Oleg danced away from her touch after a few strokes and bounded off a few yards, kicking up the fresh snow as if it pleased him. Then he turned, going perfectly still, and gave the distant stand of trees his full attention. She wondered with a shiver of remembered fear if he had known, as she now suspected, that Stokes had been hiding there watching them the day before. If so, she'd failed to pay attention to his alert. She didn't do that now. Despite the fact that she knew Stokes was in county jail, she stared at the tree line with her full attention. Nothing stirred in the blue shadows beneath winter-bare limbs that the snow had thrown into sharp relief. After a few moments more, Oleg turned back and with a sharp high bark bounded toward her and grabbed at the leash dangling from her hand. He was stronger than he looked and almost pulled it out of her hand. He growled and released it before she could correct him. Then he ran behind her and play attacked her from behind, growling and using his teeth to tug at her coat hem. As Yardley swung around in surprise, Oleg grabbed her sleeve and tugged, then released before he danced away. Oleg... She stopped herself. She didn't want to give him a hard command because she sensed he wasn't really attacking her. But he was moving quickly around her, growling and jumping against her as if he was testing her for vulnerable spots. He growled and snarled, but did not sound angry. He hadn't done this before with her. Yardley suddenly laughed in understanding. He was playing. The snow seemed to have invigorated the Czech wolf dog. He was practically prancing across the frozen earth like a pony. She tucked the leash away, a serious tool for serious training, and took several strides away, pretending to ignore him. Oleg stopped, checked the terrain for a few seconds, then came after her, leaping up repeatedly as he soft-mouthed grabbed at her coat from behind. She dropped to her knees and began pushing him away with the straight arm and the flat of her hand each time he leaped on her, snarling and growling, but only barely nipping at her with his teeth. Even so, he played rough, thrusting his full muscular body weight against her. More than once he almost knocked her over. He continued scrambling around her to throw her off center. Then, when he had found a weak spot, he'd nip in and grab her coat or hoodie and tug in a kind of catch-and-release tag. Her coat would be in tatters if she allowed him to continue. But his playfulness was a good sign. The first from Oleg that signified that he was adjusting. She was becoming more than another alpha he was trained to obey. They were becoming friends. Determined to defend herself in a playful way, she grabbed up handfuls of snow and packed them into a ball to toss at him. Sensing this was a new game, Oleg leaped up to catch the snowball in his mouth. It disintegrated, and he was left switching his head left and right, as if he expected to see it bouncing away. She quickly made a new one and tossed it. Again, Oleg stretched up in a graceful leap to snatch it out of the air. This time it hit him full mouth and shattered, pasting his muzzle in flakes. He shook it off and barked, ready to go again. She threw 3 more before he went still and swiveled his head, listening. After a second, he turned away from her, tail curving up and ears going forward. Yardley paused to follow his gaze. This time he stared at the bunkhouse. She frowned. Kye had been prepared to bunk there the day before, but had ended up sleeping beneath the roof, and she in his bed. Just the thought gave her a hot rush she had to work to ignore. Not now. She told her unreliable emotions. She needed space from all things Kye. She glanced back at Oleg. He was growling, low. The ridge hair on his back had lifted, high alert. She glanced back toward the house. Instinct told her to go and get Kye. She slapped the instinct down because she was certain that it was more about an excuse to be near him again than it was about the need for help. She'd never hesitated to walk her property before. She wasn't going to ask for help now, not when she had Oleg with her. Oleg, nose. He assumed the heel position so that she could reattach his leash. But he never fully broke concentration on the bunkhouse, glancing from her to it and back, waiting for a command to search. A rill of anxiety snaked up her spine. Could there really be something going on there? Occasionally, hikers cut through her property when they thought no one was about. Once, when all the staff was away, local teenagers had broken into the empty bunkhouse to drink beer and party. She'd returned to find a dozen underage drinkers being held hostage by 2 of the Belgian Malinois who'd freed themselves to patrol the kennel grounds. Canines were nothing if not resourceful. She hadn't trusted Oleg yesterday, to her regret.